All right, guys, so we got to talk about a pretty wild video that is going viral of a teacher scolding her kids in class because the kids don't want to watch a pride video that she's showing them in class. Now, again, this video is pretty crazy, okay? Allegedly it takes place at Edison High School in Huntington Beach, California. And this is being played in a math class, okay? And the kids are like, we really don't want to watch this. Why are you showing this to us? And the teacher gets mad because the kids don't want to be exposed to her propaganda. So we're going to talk about it because this propaganda is being pushed relentlessly in schools across the country, especially this month. Again, you know, a lot of schools are out of school, but there are some schools that are still in school, and because this month is Pride Month, they're really going hard, right? It is really being pushed hard in schools, and that has resulted in more uprisings of parents across the country. So we're going to talk about that. But before I get in that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can check out my new merch. For example, like this blacked out edition of my signature racist mug with the 2023 definition of racist according to the left and Democrats, which is anybody who disagrees with them. You can check it out at my website, gforemanbcp.com. You can get 20% off using discount code TEAMBCP. So without further ado, roll the clip.
Wow, Miss Clark. Wow. Why are you showing this to kids?
Hey, I'll warn you guys now, if you're going to be inappropriate, I will have supervision down and give all of you a Saturday school for next year. So knock it off.
Okay.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, this teacher had the unmitigated gall to ask kids to stop being inappropriate, right? Or she's going to punish them while showing children inappropriate materials, okay? I mean, it's just so funny how that works. The irony is incredible. This teacher thinks that it's inappropriate for kids to object to being shown inappropriate content in school. And the kids know it's inappropriate because they booed it. It was like, boo. Why are you showing this to kids? Right? Again, even the kids know that this is not appropriate. This is not age appropriate for them. It's just, I mean, it's almost like there's a small group of people who lack common sense. It's not even the kids, right? Maybe it is some of the kids, okay? Maybe these kids just happen to be based, okay? Maybe these are a rare group of kids, but I'm just saying. There seems to be a very small group of radicals, right, activists, who have basically convinced the Democrat Party and woke corporate America to get on board with an agenda that most of this country do not agree with, okay? Most of the country do not agree with it. And this is why we continue to see parents revolt against these school boards across the country, like quite literally across the country. We're going to go from California all the way to Granby, Connecticut, where community members got in a very heated debate with the school district over a video that was shown in class to kids, like elementary school kids. And this video is very disturbing. You can't say this is not indoctrination. Take a look.
Sit down. Everyone sit down.
Community members at this Board of Education meeting in Granby, Connecticut got very heated Wednesday night over a video the school district showed to lower school students.
Universal Kids celebrates Pride Month.
The uproar is over this 45-second video celebrating Pride Month.
What Pride means to me is just being myself and standing up for what I believe in.
And the messaging about transgender issues to middle school children.
Pride means you should be able to be free. All my life I never really felt like a boy, and I don't really feel like a girl, so I'd rather be both.
The same way we keep religion, politics, everything out of school, keep sexuality out of school, leave it to the parents.
That being has to be notified about everything that goes across the principal's desk.
But I think there should be some sensitivity, because I expect my kids to go to school to be challenged in many ways. This is a situation where they were challenged in a way that maybe I didn't expect.
Some were there in support. Resident Matt Brady said he is the parent of a transgender child.
I understand that the video made some parents uncomfortable, and I understand that you feel that sensitive topics should be discussed at home. I totally respect that. But these topics are obviously not being discussed at home, or else there wouldn't be such an uproar. For those of you who think the kids are too young to know what the transgender people and kids who have two dads exist, I remind you that the fifth graders at school are sitting in the same seats that my son sat in 2 years ago. And there are kids at Wells Road right now that fit that description.
The principal of the school wrote in an email to parents, quote, "It certainly was not intended to alienate or disturb any child. In context, we are trying to remind students that it is okay to be who you are and still be treated with respect, dignity, and kindness." Kyle Reyes was listening to the meeting on Zoom. He has 2 kids in the school.
It's inappropriate to be having these conversations in the classroom, especially without the knowledge of the parents.
Nick D'Amato also has 2 kids in the school and says there's no place for this in the school.
My father is an openly gay man, married to my stepmother. My mom is an openly lesbian woman. And we were instilled the values that, you're very welcoming and accepting to people. But we were also taught that God gave us certain rights that the Constitution spells out for us, and that a lot of service members have fought and died for to protect for us. So it's important to have a balance between the two. And to violate that by sending this material to 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders is unacceptable.
I could say that I like to be called a...
Now, the superintendent says the district needs to work better to communicate more effectively. Residents there are not buying it. The residents we spoke to, Kyle Reyes, who you just heard from earlier in the story, says he's pulling all of his children out of the school district. Nicole?
All right. Investigative correspondent Rich McHugh reporting live. Thank you.
Guys, again, if you say that, hey, I think they're trying to push this stuff on children, I think they're trying to expose this stuff to kids in school, they'll say that you're a conspiracy theorist, right? You're a bigot, right? Corporate America might cancel you, okay? Like what happened to that gaming streamer, Nick Merckx, okay? Because he simply said, look, I don't want my kid to be taught this stuff in school. I'm a parent. I want to talk to my kids about sex. I don't think teachers should be talking to kids about sex. Apparently, that is hate and bigotry, right? While they show video of LGBTQ kids to elementary school kids and then tell you that you're a bigot if you are opposed to it, right? Again, it's fascinating the world that we live in. It really is. And what's even more fascinating is how you have the whole Democrat Party that is on board with this. Okay, I'm going to do a video about Joe Biden, okay, and him giving a full-throated endorsement to this. You have one corporate America on board with this as well, too, right? And a lot of this stuff has to do with the fact that these people, whether they be politicians, they just want votes. And corporate America, they just want money, right? This issue right here of kids learning about LGBTQ issues in school should be an issue that is a shut and closed issue in a civilized society. This shouldn't even be a debate. It just shouldn't happen, right? But because we're not living in a civilized society anymore, okay, we have, again, power and money-hungry interests that are promoting this nonsense. We're being gaslighted into believing if you're opposed to kids learning about this, you're some type of bigot. Because politicians want votes. They want the votes of these children who get exposed to stuff, they get indoctrinated, and they're overwhelmingly liberal and progressive, Democrat Party voters, right? 1 out of 5 in Gen Z identifies as LGBTQ. Probably at least half of them are, I would probably say pro-LGBTQ, which means that they're definitely going to vote Democrat and be liberal. Corporate America looks at that and says, well, these are the consumers of tomorrow. These are the people that are going to be buying our stuff. So they engage in woke capitalism. and try to market to this demographic with social issues. And a lot of people say, well, it's about ESG. Well, ESG is just capitalism, right? It's just about money, okay? That's what it's about. They just use a social agenda to sell products, right? That's what it is. And this is, again, the issue, in my opinion, that really will test somebody's moral compass. Are you this corrupt that you really believe that it is right to push sex on kids in school for power and money? I mean, that's a serious question. Because most people in this country do not agree with this. But again, the politicians and corporate America do agree with it. As if you would think that most people agree with it, right? But they don't care about today. What they actually really care about is tomorrow, right? They care about tomorrow. They're betting that ultimately these kids are going to be indoctrinated, and then there will be, again, Democrat Party voters and, you know, the consumers that are buying their stuff. But again, the solution here, right, is getting kids out of these schools. And I mean that because it's not even just the LGBTQ issue or the issue of pushing this stuff in school to kids. It's also the fact these schools are just not good. These are failing schools. Okay, we have kids across the country, especially in these inner liberal cities, black children who can't read, write, or do math at all. And the effed up part about it is that we are being forced to support this with our tax dollars. So kids not only aren't getting the education that they're supposed to get in school, right? They're not learning the basics. They're also being indoctrinated with sexual and gender ideology. And we're footing the bill, right? Why is this something that the Republican Party is not proposing a better solution for? Why are they not being more vocal about this, right? This probably is the number one issue for the Republican Party if they actually really want to win. The Republican Party doesn't just need to frame this issue when we're talking about the indoctrination of pride. They also got to do more talking about just, again, how these schools are failing. We need major education reform, okay? Which means that we need to push more school choice, more homeschooling, right? And in fact, I'll go this far with it. I think that, honestly, we should start paying mothers to homeschool their kids, right? I mean, for real, I think that should be a Republican policy. Why? The reason why is because that will empower conservatives who don't necessarily have the income or have school choice options to homeschool their kids, to not have to have their kids be forced into indoctrination just because they have lower income. I think that we need to give parents more of a choice. And I think that this is an agenda, again, whether we're talking about indoctrination or whether we talk about just the schools failing in general, that Republicans have to be louder about and have to start presenting more legislation on, because there's opportunity here. We can't forget why Glenn Youngkin flipped Virginia. And the reason why is because school choice is probably the most effective and powerful policy proposal, okay, policy agenda that we have. It's bipartisan. These schools are failing. They're indoctrinating children in racial and gender ideology. If we want to promote traditional families, we need to be passing policies that help families be more traditional. Defund the public schools. Get your kids out of public schools. Therefore, they don't need as many teachers, right? Less woke teachers for employment. I'd rather pay the mothers. I would rather pay the mothers than to pay the teachers. In my state, North Carolina, they pay $12,000 a student. Again, I would rather give it to the mothers or as a school voucher to go to another school that's not going to be woke. Much rather have that. And speaking of North Carolina, I mean, the Republicans here, just passed a private school voucher / school choice agenda legislation that Roy Cooper basically declared a state of emergency over, right? Our Democrat governor. So yeah, we got to start pushing more legislation like that, right? That's what we got to start doing, because we got to understand the deck stacked against us. The teachers unions are woke. The school administrators are woke. The school boards are woke. Democrat party's woke. Woke corporate America's woke. The whole system's woke. So you have to take your kids out of the system, right? That's the only way. That's the only way. Republicans have to push radical school choice legislation, a radical homeschooling agenda, and that is what is going to help turn the tide in this culture war. Because there is a culture war over the minds and hearts of children in this country. And these people on the left, they're relentless. They're relentless. They're coming out the kids, and if you're opposed to it, they will shame you. They will take away your sponsorships. They will call you a bigot. They will come after you, right? So we have to be just as radical in return in regards to helping get kids out of schools. If you want to indoctrinate kids in school, fine, do it. Let the liberal parents have their kids indoctrinated. But conservative parents, no. No. We need a choice, okay? And that's how you fight back. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.